Hey y'all, what's up? It's Mad Goddess TV with your queen, Sultana. I am so glad today because we are finally getting to our book, How to Eat to Live. I'm so glad that the sun is shining and this beautiful tree is growing behind me because today's topic is your health and what you're putting into your body. All right, so if we want to get started, first I want to see how beautiful I am. No makeup, no filters. So that's the first thing on how to eat to live. Start loving your skin, treating your skin properly. Everything that goes on your skin absorbs into your body. So we need to remember that, ladies, when we're putting on a lot of makeup and wearing makeup every day. Don't get me wrong, I do wear makeup, but not on a daily basis. If there's an event to go to, if there's a show to go to, if I'm performing or speaking or whatever have you, then okay, put on the makeup. But on a daily basis, makeup is not your friend. Drink tons of water. People ask me all the time, why is my skin so flawless? And I'm, in my early 30s, so I ain't gonna tell my age, but it's because I drink tons and tons of water and read on the back of your water. Lately, I just been drinking because I haven't been having access to the alkaline water, which is what we need. I have been drinking. Arrowhead has a spring water. It's 100% spring water. It has no ingredients in it. So we have to start reading the ingredients of our water because they are putting so many different chemicals in our water that are not good for our body. So for me, I just get the plain old spring water from Arrowhead, 100% spring water. And if you read the ingredients, there are none because it's fresh water straight from San Bernardino. And San Bernardino ain't the cleanest, but their mountains are. All right, so let's get into it. How to Eat to Live. This is book 1. I just received book 2. So make sure you like, share, subscribe because we are going to be going into book 2 in about another week or so. I just got it from Final Call, which is at NOI.org. You can get a whole lot of black books by Elijah Muhammad, by Farrakhan, and other authors. As you can see, I've been doing all my studying, breaking down. The reason why I started this channel is because a lot of people read the book, but they don't really break it down. So the understanding sometimes is not on point. When you actually break down a book, break down the words that you don't understand, you get a higher level of understanding, overstanding. Like my previous book review, I will not go through the whole book because I want you to get the book, read the book, break the book down. This book in particularly I got from Harlem, New York, in front of Mosque number 7. There's a gentleman there with a table selling books. So I got this book and I bought The Fall of America as well. So we will be going over The Fall of America. If you want to look at my previous video, it's on the Willie Lynch letter where I broke down how did black people get to this point through slavery. How was this world designed to break us down? And the Willie Lynch letter is a great read that you need to get and really shows you why we are in the state that we are in. Now that we know why we are in the state that we are in, black people, now it's time to eat to live, because with the foods that you're putting in your body also controls your mental thoughts. So we need to know, first of all, everybody turning up. I cannot say anything. I've been the queen of turn up. I'm not judging anybody's turn up game. But what I had to realize was alcohol would be my demise in the future. It was the demise of my own father, who died from cirrhosis of the liver and hepatitis C. So it has a personal effect on my emotions, and I have an issue with alcohol. So I had to drop the bottle. I had to let it go and change my life. Eat to live. The alcohol, the drugs, the tobacco, which is still a drug, everything that we're putting in our body is a part of our own demise. So I would encourage you, if you like the bottle, that's your thing, just let it go. Some things, once we get to a certain point in life, we just gotta let it go. So I had to just let it go. Weed, alcohol, I'm clear, free, and sober. Thank God. The first thing I would like to go over is vegetables, because we love vegetables, and primarily all vegetables are good to eat. But the book reads, virtually all vegetables are good to eat except collard greens and turnip salad. The roots of turnips do very well, but not the salad. Cabbages are good, especially the white head, but not the green leaves. So we think that everything green is good for us, but we have to understand one thing about collard greens and turnip greens. And you're talking to someone who loves greens. Like, I'm a big green eater. Particularly, I like the mustard green. It's more of a curly leaf, not as straight and flat as the collard green and the turnip green. As black people, we were slaves. So a lot of things that we are eating are foods that were supposed to be fed to animals. It was not meant for human consumption. So the collard green, the turnip green, those are greens that we grew up on and we don't want to let go. But we have to know that all these things are hard on the digestive system. I know our grandmas and grandpas have been making it for years, but understand that we are the descendants of slaves. We need to understand that a lot of those foods were not meant for human consumption. So let me read that one more time. Virtually all vegetables are good to eat except collard greens and turnip salad. The roots of turnips are very well, which is rutabagas, things like that. Turnips, the actual turnips. I usually sometimes put the actual turnip in my greens. I cut the turnip up and the rutabagas up and put them in my greens. And these roots are always good for your body. So the roots of the turnips are excellent. Boil them up really good. Put them in your greens. If you're gonna make mustard greens, he didn't say anything about not eating mustard greens. So get you some mustard greens. Put you some fresh turnips in the mustard greens, baby. Don't play with me. If you don't eat meat, you could use a vegetable stock or something like that to season your greens. But primarily, I use turkey neck bones. And you're gonna learn later on about putting meat in your greens. It says, do not eat the vegetable kale. Okay, so we have, do not eat turnip greens or turnip salad. Okay, cabbage is good, but don't eat the green leafy part. And but the roots of turnips are very well, but not the salad part. So you have the actual turnip, and then it grows green leaves at the top, and that's where they get the turnip green from. The turnip itself is what we should be eating, not the green leaves. Okay? It also says do not eat kale. Well, kale, oh my God, we've been eating that in all our smoothies. We've been putting that in our salads. We've been sauteing it. Me personally, I like kale, but why aren't we eating kale? Why? Because kale was grafted by the white folks, the Europeans. The reason why they grew kale is because it can withstand the cold climates in Europe. We are tropical people. This is not a vegetable for us. Okay? It says, eat spinach, but do not become a habitual spinach eater. And that's me, y'all. Oh my God, I eat spinach in everything. Most of the time in my salads, instead of lettuce, I eat spinach. Oh my God, I cannot become a habitual spinach eater. I know that a lot of green vegetables have the vitamin K in it, and some people, if you have too much vitamin K, it could be harmful to your system. Particularly my cousin who passed away, rest in peace, Sister Phyllis Brooks X. She couldn't eat a lot of greens because it has a vitamin K in it, and vitamin K, it was not going well with her system. So that's not the reason for her passing, but definitely vitamin K, too much vitamin K can be detrimental to your health. So maybe, I'm assuming that is the reason why he is saying don't be a habitual spinach eater. It's very good for you, but do not, too much of anything, consuming too much of anything can be harmful to your health. Okay, y'all gonna be mad at me about this. No sweet potatoes. Oh, OMG. No sweet potatoes. Can y'all believe it? But listen, the sweet potato and turnip greens and collard greens, these are all things that slaves ate, and that's why black people eat it today. The soul food, it was all given to us by our ancestors who were slaves, who had no choice. But now that we have a choice, we need to know the rights and wrongs of what we're eating. So no sweet potatoes, no white potatoes. Okay, sweet potatoes were never good for any human to eat. They are good for hogs. Now if you a hog, you do what you want. But I really never liked sweet potatoes like that. I only like it like cooked like a candy yams. But I never ate it like baked. And I know everybody said like that's the best way to eat it. But I just like candy yams. But they were meant for feeding hogs. Okay, a lot of foods that we are eating that were given to us by our slave masters or cooked for us by our ancestors were meant for animal consumption. It was not meant for human consumption, and that is the key to this whole how to eat to live thing. Remembering our ancestors, remembering that they were eating the things that they ate because they had to, not necessarily because it was good for them, but because they had to. And some days they would go without eating at all because they had nothing. So they had to make something out of nothing. And usually the scraps were given to us, so we had to make something out of the scraps. Okay, know that potatoes and rice are too starchy. That's one reason. They laden us with too much starch and fat, which are friends to diabetes. So all these sweet potatoes you want to eat, all these white potatoes you want to eat, and rice you want to eat, know that they are friends to diabetes. And know that, you can look it up on the CDC website, diabetes is one of the #1 causes of death in America. Okay? Sweet potatoes are full of gas. Know that. Okay? Y'all gonna be, well, some people are gonna be mad and some people are gonna be very excited because peas, I know from experience, my brother never liked peas when we were kids, and I know from experience that a lot of kids hate peas. And you will be happy to know, children and adults, that peas, you are not supposed to be eating peas. So it says here, peas, collard greens, turnip greens, sweet potatoes, and white potatoes are very cheaply raised foods. The southern slave masters used them to feed the slaves and still advise the consumption of them. Okay? These foods are unfit for human consumption. Okay? That's what the book says. I'm sorry to tell you, parents. I know you be wanting to make your kids eat their peas. But guess what? It's not meant for human consumption. And it's a cheaply raised food. Beans. What we talking about? Beans. Now, we love beans. But particularly, Hispanics love beans. And we need to understand, as a race, they just our cousin. And most of us are mixed, you know, through family, through babies. So we need to understand that beans, no beans, okay, except, it says no beans except the small navy brown pink ones and the white ones. So the navy beans, small brown pink or white. The navy bean is the only bean that you are advised to eat. This bean he valued to be very high in protein. So the navy bean is high in protein. The small brown pink ones and the white one is the only bean that you should be eating. So when you get your bean pie, no, there's a navy bean in there. And it be good. So this bean he valued to be very high in protein, fats, and starches. So it does have some starch. And it is a safe food for prolonging life. Everybody want to live a long life. Everybody want to see their children grow up. Everybody want to see their grandchildren grow up. So that's what it's all about. Particularly my black people, diabetes is killing us at an all-time high, and it's one of the highest causes of death in America. So we need to get our how to eat to live and make sure we follow these instructions. Do not add rice and meats to these beans. So when you cooking your beans, don't eat it with the rice. That's two starches on top of each other, so double starch pretty much. When you're cooking your beans, do not add meat to it. You're gonna have a piece of meat on the side most likely anyway, so you really don't need to add meat. But I mean, if you're not gonna eat meat on the side, go ahead and put the meat, but use that meat as your base for your meal. Meat, beans, you already got it together, then you don't need the extra meat on the side. Okay, but this says do not add rice and meats to these beans because they contain proteins, fats, and starches. So you got beans with protein, fat, and starches. Then you got rice on top of that with a lot of starch. Then you have meat with more protein, fat, and starches. So he's saying all of this stuff combined, like you are overdoing it pretty much. Fruits. Now y'all know I love my fruit now. Y'all don't know. Everybody else know. If you know me, you know that the queen love fruit. I don't care. I'll go to the store and buy a fruit salad and I'll survive off that all day. But know that as it pertains to fruits, do not eat processed dried fruits. Now y'all know it's a lot of that going on these days. Y'all getting a lot of these fruits and thinking, oh, we got it, it's healthy and da-da-da. No, you don't want to process anything. Not just fruits. You don't want processed anything. Everything that we eat needs to be fresh. It needs to be organic. It needs to be GMO free. It needs to have no artificial flavors and all this other stuff added to it. You just want a fresh piece of fruit, even though this is not done, but this is an example. Fresh piece of fruit for your body, okay? And let's get to the breads, because like myself, I know that we all love breads. Do we not? We all love breads, particularly me, particularly a lot of people who are slightly overweight love breads. But we all know that bread is not our friend. It rises while it is in your stomach. After it's already been cooked, after you've already eaten it, then once it's in your stomach, it rises some more, which, i.e., keeps you from getting that, flat stomach that you want. So when it comes to bread, eat whole wheat bread, but not whole grain. It is too much for the digestive system. Eat wheat, never white flour. Now, I don't like white flour anyway. Most of the time, I'll buy wheat flour. You can fry your chicken or your fish or whatever in wheat flour. You don't have to do white flour. You don't want white flour. Know that white flour has been robbed of all its nutrients. So that's why we don't do white flour. Wheat flour is the best. Okay? Know that cornbread has been forbidden for you to eat. Now y'all know we like cornbread with everything. We gotta have cornbread with our greens, we gotta have cornbread. Cornbread is the bomb, but it's not meant for us to consume. Know that. Cornbread is not good for human consumption because of its potency. It's very potent, which only animal stomachs are able to digest. So we are not able to digest cornbread properly. And this is why we should not be eating it. Again, I will never, ever, ever get enough of stressing the fact that we got our diet from former slaves, which were giving scraps. to eat and make a meal out of. And we have taken on this diet not understanding the severity of what our ancestors went through. Because we are eating like our ancestors, that lets me know that we as a black race do not really truly understand what our ancestors went through and why they ate the foods that they ate and who gave them the foods that they ate. They were scraps meant to feed animals. Cornbread is not good for human consumption. Okay. Know that if you must or are forced to eat it, he said to cook it 2 or 3 times. So if you must eat it and you're forced to eat it, make sure you cook it thoroughly 2 to 3 times. Okay? Put it up, sour it with a good yeast, dice onions into it, and let it ferment like wheat bread. After this, cook it 2 or 3 times. Okay, so he's giving you instructions on what to do with your cornbread. If it's a must that you have to eat this bread, know that you need to cook it 2 or 3 times, put it up, sour it with yeast, dice onions into it, and let it ferment like wheat bread. After this, then you cook it 2 or 3 times more. So it needs to be thoroughly cooked before you can consume it. Know that. Know this about bread. Never eat fresh bread. Okay? It says never eat fresh bread. Never eat fresh hot corn muffins or hot cakes and syrup. Now, I don't like pancakes anyway. I mean, I might eat one every now and then, but we all know that pancakes and syrup are not good for us. If regular bread is not, or cornbread is not good for us, we know that pancakes and syrup is not good for us. So it says, never eat fresh hot corn muffins or hot cakes and syrup. Okay? Know this, for you working men who work really, really hard at your job and have a lot of strenuous work, know that rye bread is the best bread for you to consume. And it reads, rye bread, if it is cooked enough, is fine to eat. It is not good for office people. So y'all people who sit at y'all desk all day, you don't need no bread, no potatoes, no rice anyway, because it's all going to your stomach and you're not working out enough. So rye bread, if it is cooked thoroughly, is fine to eat. It is not good enough for office people. They are not active enough to digest such bread. You're not active enough, office people, so just limit the bread at period, because this is why we are growing with obesity in this world, because the majority of us sit at a desk all day. Okay, rye bread is good for the working man. Okay, so that's what we're gonna talk about bread. Get the book, How to Eat to Live, Mad Goddess TV. Follow me, like, share, subscribe at Miss Hayes One on YouTube and Millionaire Queen Sultana on Instagram. Holla. Next, we are talking about preparing food. So, ladies, you gotta learn how to cook. Sorry, ladies, but you just gotta learn how to cook. No, it's not old school. No, it's not a double standard. You need to learn how to cook. I don't care. Ladies, you are the bearers, cultivators, and nurturers of children. So it's nothing again about man versus woman or things being a double standard. It's all about you being able to take care of your children and nurture them properly and feed them properly. So all women, especially mothers, need to learn how to cook. So prepare your own food, because all this fast food all the time and all this processed junk you buying that's frozen, ready to cook, you put it in the microwave for a couple seconds, none of that is healthy for you or your children's consumption, and it's all detrimental to the shortening of your lifespan. So no, do not eat highly rich soybean. We have to start reading what's on the back of our labels. If you look on the back of our labels in the grocery store, a lot of things have soy in them. We do not need to eat soy products. Soy is meant for animal consumption. It was never meant for human consumption. And it reads, do not eat highly rich soybeans. These beans are for cattle, not for human beings. The oil from soybeans is not good for our stomachs. Soybean flour is being mixed with wheat flour by the flour mills. So read, I don't care what it is, read back, including your flour. Make sure it's pure wheat flour, not wheat flour with soy flour in it. We don't want no soy products. It was meant for cattle. We don't want soy products. And I know my Asian community, my Chinese community, my Filipinos, I know y'all love y'all soy, but I'm sorry to tell you that it's not meant for human consumption. So we need to find an alternative. For good health, we should raise and prepare our own food. That means getting back to buying land, getting back to getting your own animals and raising them, getting back to getting in that kitchen, ladies. We got to get back to our roots, and that is the key to a long-lasting life. We need to know this about bread, though. Actually, stale bread is the best kind of bread, and we all hate stale bread, but know that it reads, actually, stale bread is better on your stomach and digestive system. Okay? Know this. Positively eat no nuts. Nuts are being sold, even at the health food store. Nuts are being sold everywhere for human consumption. Know that nuts are meant for feeding birds. We know that. And their stomachs are the only stomach that is able to properly digest a nut. We are not able to properly digest a fresh nut. In this book, Elijah Muhammad stresses eating one meal a day. Now, y'all Americans know we eat a lot. And it's not like we are in the fields chopping weeds and doing a whole bunch of raising our own foods and stuff. So we are eating 3 times a day, which is promoted, and we don't need that much food. And that's just period and point blank. Know that we eat a lot of fried foods. Everything is fried. Every fast food restaurant, southern style restaurant, so-called, everything is fried. Fried shrimp, fried chicken, fried this, fried that. If you can avoid it, do not eat fried foods, especially hardly fried foods. And do not eat, let's get it from the book. Fried foods are hard on your digestive system and will cut your life short. Do not eat fried or hard-baked foods if you can avoid them. You know, I love fried chicken, but that don't mean it's good for me. It's very hard on your digestive system, so we need to take this to heed, because everything Americans eat, the majority of our food is fried. A lot of these stores is opening. Sorry restaurants, sorry stores, but I gotta save my people. Y'all got to stop frying so much of your dishes. We need more healthier alternatives, and we need to start going to restaurants and grocery stores that aid in healthier alternatives. Okay? Now, let's talk about the good foods. We talked a lot about the bad stuff, the stuff that we cannot eat or should not eat. I'm ready to talk about the good stuff. Mad Goddess TV. Holla, like, share, subscribe, comment. Let me know what you think. Okay. And know that with me saying a lot of things that are in this book, I am not racist. I am not against Christians. I am not against Jews. I am not against any religion. You know, know that everything that I'm saying is out of love and it's out of the betterment of my black people. I don't care what religion you are. It's just to better us as a people. In order for us to come together, we need to heal ourselves internally so that our minds can be reshaped, restructured, and reformed to know that it is better for us to stick together. So, I will read a quote from the book. The Christian civilization has taught the so called Negro slave to eat freshly baked bread, white biscuits, and white rolls just out of the oven, and it scorns old bread, which is better for the stomach than freshly baked bread. So we know that. So now we're talking about the good stuff. Ooh, let's get to the good stuff. Everybody's like so sad. Oh, we can't eat collard greens. We can't eat turnip greens. We can't eat cornbread. We can't eat beans, except for the navy beans. We don't need to eat rice and beans and meat all together. It's just so much starch piling on each other. Let's talk about what we can eat. If you're gonna eat a pie, eat a fruit pie. Okay? Of course, it's not good for you to eat it freshly baked because the crust may not be cooked properly. Okay? Use brown sugar and whole wheat flour for your pies and cobblers. It's fruit, so it's okay to eat it. Just don't eat too much of it, and make sure it's fruit pies, not no. Don't eat the fruit that's already ready and eat fresh fruit pies. Fresh fruit pies only. Okay. Brown sugar, wheat flours for your crusts. Know that. Let's talk about raw fruits. Apples are better when eaten raw than when made into pies. This goes for pears, peaches, bananas. All fruits is better for you raw than cooked. When fruit is raw, we get the benefits of its natural vitamins. If possible, never eat cooked fruit. If you're gonna eat cooked fruit, you can put it in your pies. It's fine every once in a blue moon. But if you're gonna eat fruit, it's best to eat it raw, and we all know that. Okay, meat. Now this is a big thing because some meats do not break down in your body properly. And know that because I used to work for a stent company and we used to make stents for your arteries and your hearts. And I actually was on the assembly line. I actually made stents. And what they do is your artery is like this, and you can't get the plaque out of your artery. See, the meat that you eat, it goes to your heart, your arteries, things like that, and it builds up plaque. So you can't get you can't get rid of the plaque in your artery. So what the stent does is it goes in and it pushes the plaque aside of the walls to prevent you from having things like heart attacks and things like that. So the only way to prevent you from getting this type of plaque, excess plaque, is to not eat as much meat and to eat more vegetables and fruits. Beef. Now you can look up this statistic. I heard it some time ago, but I know that they say that 85 to 95% of beef has leukemia. Look up that fact, make sure it's correct, because it's been a while since I've seen it and those numbers may have changed. So it says here, make sure you get the cleanest meat, tuberculosis free. Did you know that meat even had tuberculosis? Let's research that. Tuberculosis free meat. It says here, most beef is too coarse for our stomach. The lamb is the best. So lamb meat is the best, and most other beefs are too coarse for our stomach. Okay? When you're eating chicken, black people, y'all know y'all love y'all some chicken, and I am no exception to the rule. I absolutely love chicken, but I usually eat the leg or the wing. Those are my favorite parts. But okay, small young pigeons, which are called squabs, which have never flown from their nest, do not eat any bird that has been free of flying around and look for its own food. Now, I do shop at the health food stores, and I see that on a lot of their products like on eggs and stuff, they say free range chickens, from free range chicken. And what the minister is saying, that you eating from a free range chicken is not good. You need to have your own chickens and make sure that you're regulating what they're eating, because one thing about a chicken is it'll eat anything, a grown chicken. But the babies are not free to look for their own food, so they're pretty much eating only good stuff that their mothers are bringing them. Okay, like I said, do not eat any bird that has been free to fly around and look for its own food. Okay, this is the teaching of Allah to me, or God. Okay, chickens are not fit to eat. Chickens are not fit to eat. You have to nurse them so carefully to keep them away from filth. Okay, a chicken you have to nurse, and you need to contain it and make sure it's eating the proper things, because if you don't, it'll eat filth, and we need to keep it away from filth. Okay, one thing that he has attested is that Muslims can eat things that the Jews eat, and Jews can eat the things that the Muslims eat, because our diets are sort of the same. So, Orthodox Jews, make sure the kosher way when it comes to meat is the best way. Buy your meat from the strictly Orthodox Jew. Be certain it is an Orthodox kosher market. And I always tell people, no racism implied. You gotta eat where the white man eat. You gotta shop where the white man shop. Because they'll have some bull crap in our communities, but they're not gonna have the bull crap in their own communities. So we need to shop where they shop. Because if it's okay for them to poison our communities, then it should be okay for us to shop in their healthy communities. Orthodox Jewish kosher markets. Kosher salt, kosher meats are the best. We love our ground beef and our ground meats, but we need to know that the book says do not eat ground meat unless you see it ground. So it's best to take your meat to a place that grounds meat and let the man ground it, because a lot of times I've seen this in a YouTube video where they'll ground your meat in like a big facility because it's being mass produced, and they might throw a little beef in there, but it also might have a little pork in there. It also might have a little I seen one video where they had a whole baby horse. They just threw the whole baby horse in the ground meat, like not deboned or nothing. They literally threw the baby horse in the whole grounding thing to ground the meat. So when you're eating certain ground meats, even like bologna, when bologna is made, they're putting all kind of junk in it. So make sure you're reading your labels and making sure you're going to get your meat ground, so you know exactly what's in your sausages. You know exactly what's in your ground beef. You know that it's ground beef and not ground beef and horse. Okay, so buy the quality meats that you like and have them ground by Orthodox kosher Jews. And the reason why is because you know that they're not eating pork, and your meat is going to be free from those things. Okay, and it says about rice here. It also says if you must eat rice, make sure you brown it first. So if you gotta eat the white rice, make sure you take it, you clean it very well to get all the starch out. Make sure you brown it with some butter. And when you eat butter, make sure it's real butter. Don't eat that bull crap. Eat the real butter. The butter that you use for your pies and cakes, the real butter, that's the butter you should be eating. All right, now it's time to get on this pig. Now y'all know Muslims do not eat swine. Throughout this book, you're gonna see a lot about not eating swine. A pig, it is the filthiest animal on earth. And I have some documents on my phone which reiterate that, and you can Google these documents, and it shows that The pig was created by the European. And just so you know what it's been grafted from, I'll go to the back of the book and I will read. It reads, "The hog is a grafted animal, so says Allah. Grafted from rat, cat, and dog." So when you eating the pig, you eating a mixture of rats, cats, and dogs. Okay? Don't question this. Okay? You have witnessed that the rat is involved in grafting of the hog in, for you Christians, here you go your proof, Isaiah 66 and 17. Go to your Bibles now. Let me give you a second. Mad Goddess TV. Mad Goddess TV. Mad Goddess TV. Mad. Hey, you're so crazy. Crazy. I'm crazy. Mad Goddess TV. So, Isaiah 66 and 17. It reads, "They that sanctify themselves and purify themselves in the gardens behind one tree in the midst, eating swine flesh, and the abomination and the mouse shall be consumed together, saith the Lord." So y'all Christians know, y'all talk about Muslim people and they don't want no pork and they don't want no swine, but it says in your Bible that you should not be eating swine. Also, another mention of the pig in the Bible. This is on page 95, How to Eat to Live, Leviticus 11, 7, and 8. So let me give you time. Ooh, boom. Mad Goddess TV. Get your books out. Hey, Mad Goddess TV. Mad. Hey, you're so crazy. Hey, I'm crazy. Mad Goddess TV. Leviticus 11, 7, and 8 says, "And the swine, though he divide the hoof and be cloven footed, yet he cheweth not the cud, he is unclean to you. Of their flesh shall ye not eat, and their carcass shall ye not touch. They are unclean to you." And that's Leviticus 11, 7, and 8. So why y'all Christians always judging Muslims, y'all need to start listening and stop being so hard-headed, because it ain't about you. It ain't about your feelings. It's about the will of God. Rather it's Jesus Christ, Allah, or whoever you want to call him. Okay? Listen and stop being so hard-headed and read your book. Thoroughly read it and break it down. And that's why we have the book breakdown, Mad Goddess TV, because most people read books, think they understand it, but never broke the book down in its entirety, so they don't have a true understanding. So let's get back to this pig. The pig, this grafted animal was made for medical purposes, not for food for the people. And that this animal destroys the beautiful appearance of its eaters. And y'all know, people that eat a lot of pork, they skin do not be looking good. Know this. Now, all y'all people that love bacon and all that, I get it. You know what I'm saying? I even used to sneak a little bacon every now and then. I was never eating like the major parts of the pig, but I always used to sneak a little bacon now and then. I just told on myself, know this, I don't eat that shit. I don't touch that shit. Not even the bacon. Okay? Know this. It says about the pig, his poison is that of a live nature. So the poison is in the pig, but it's a live animal in the pig. Listen to this. You ain't gonna never want to eat bacon again. His poison is that of a live nature in the form of a parasitic worm that is called Trichina. I looked it up and I broke it down. It's pronounced Trichina, but it's spelled Trichinina. This is the worm that's in the pig. Okay, commonly it's known as the pork worm. Okay, which is found in the stomach of the intestinal wall. So are y'all eating chitlins? Yeah, it's worms in that chitlin. Yeah, that's what a chitlin is, the intestines. And this worm is found in the walls of the pig's intestines. Okay, until it finally breathes and works itself into the muscles of the body of its eater. So it starts breeding. Once you start eating it, that's when that worm start breeding and spreading, and it goes into your muscles because you are the eater. So this worm starts developing and going and breeding and going into the walls of its eaters. Okay, they work themselves into the spinal cord, okay, and travel the spinal cord toward the brain. So it goes up the spinal cord from your stomach to your brain, at which time there is no possible cure. So once this worm gets to your brain, you pretty much dead. This worm can kill you. So if that doesn't make you stop eating pork, I don't know what will. Okay? And I looked up the definition of the worm. The Turkna, that's the pig worm. It is a parasitic nematode worm of humans and other animals, the adults of which live in the small intestines, the larvae from hard cysts and muscles, where they remain until eaten by the next. So they stay in the pig until it's eaten by somebody else, which is you, humans. Once it goes from the pig, it goes to you, and it starts from your stomach, works up its way into your spine, through your spine to your brain, and once it gets to your brain, boom, you're dead. So if you are currently eating pig, I suggest that you take shots of ginger. Ginger root, it kills worms. So make sure you're taking your ginger shots. But that does not mean continue to eat pig. That means stop eating pig. But to cleanse your blood and cleanse your body for now, we need to get some ginger roots and juice it up and get your ginger shots. I go to Juice It Up. You can get them for $2 to $3. Okay? Now, this is the effects that the pig has on the human body. I want to go through these effects. This is a very important page. It's page 15, How to Eat to Live, Book 1, Mad Goddess TV. And it reads, they then cause the victim to suffer with rheumatism, backaches, stomach aches, headaches, fever, and even change in color of the eyes of the eater. So some people who have yellow eyes, that's not because they're high, that's because they're eating a lot of pork. It says, rheumatism, backaches, stomach aches, headaches, fever, and even change the color of the eyes of some eaters to a dull brown or a dull red. They fill the eater with a drowsiness, laziness, slow thinking, slow moving, and tendency to be easily irritated. Okay? The swine eaters are always ready to rise up for a dispute and fight other people and among themselves. Who that sound like? Don't that sound like black people? You always ready to rise up for a dispute and fight other people? Oh, I'm hard. Oh, don't ever try me. Don't come for me, sis. And all that bullshit. And always ready to rise for a dispute. You know, sometimes we gotta look at ourselves and the things that we're putting in our body. Can you see that the things that we're putting in our body is a direct effect of our actions and how we treat each other? We have to see this. And that's the reason for me doing my book breakdown. Because we are not seeing the direct effects from the things that we consume to how we treating each other. Alcohol, we get drunk, we want to fight, we acting crazy. The eating pig, we want to fight, we acting crazy. You know what I'm saying? Like, we need to start thinking about the direct effects the things that we consume have on our body. Come on, black people, let's get it together. Okay, so we got a message to you people with diabetes. So, to you diabetics, eat only one meal a day. Lay off the starch and sugar, which is in a lot of things that we talked about earlier. A lot of y'all have excuses, you know, and I talked about this earlier, and it talks about well, my parents used to eat this, so I'm gonna eat it too. And I ain't gonna stop eating it. Somebody told me that I ain't gonna stop eating my sweet potato and all this. That is called ignorance. Now we know the problem, why you're having all these health issues. Now we're pointing it out to you in a book. Now we're talking about it and bringing awareness to you. And now it's time for you to change your eating habits. That is important. And if you don't change your eating patterns, you're just an ignorant person and you want to die, because your eating habits are a direct effect to your health problems. And that's the whole thing. So this is for these people with the excuses. The white folks eat it, and my grandparents ate it, and they lived to be 75 and 80 years old. If Noah and Methuselah had heard you boasting that your parents only lived 75 or 80 years eating poison, they would have considered your parents as never having grown up to become adults. According to their good way of eating the best food about twice a week and living nearly 1,000 of our present calendar years, which consists of 365 days. So basically that is saying, on the other hand, you bragging and boasting about your parents living 75, 85, even 100 years old, and because of what they've been eating, because they eating all the poison that they mamas ate, and the reason why they mamas ate the poison that they ate is because they were slaves and they had no choice. But if you told the people of the Bible this, they would laugh at you, because they lived thousands and thousands and thousands of years. Okay? Allah prohibits things such as collard greens and rough turnip salads. Okay? You have plenty of other vegetables to eat. Okay? And you have good beans other than lima beans, field butter beans called baby lima beans, and black-eyed peas, field peas. Okay, these are things that was on the ground that people just picked up and made a meal out of. You know what I'm saying? They didn't grow, on a natural scale for human consumption. These things were fed to animals. Okay, so let's talk about fasting. A lot of people think that it's just a Muslim thing, but it's not just a Muslim thing. Fasting is important. Ladies, when you're on your menstrual cycle, fast. Nothing heavy, and I'm just telling you through my experience, and this is what I do. Make sure you exercise, number one. No heavy foods, only hot soups and hot teas. And when you go to bed, that heating pad is your best friend, and I promise you, your cramps will never be the same. Never, ever, 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 ever take ibuprofen or any other kind of pill such as Motrin for cramps. Okay, so this is what it says about fasting. Fasting with the right kind of food is the cure for ills. He has said to me that there is no cure in drugs and medicine. And this, the world is now learning. We can take medicine all our lives until it kills us, yet we are still aligning with the same old diseases. So the medicine is not helping you. Please learn to fast. It's not just from food. You might be fasting from alcohol. You might be fasting from weed or tobacco, or you can fast in many different ways, and you can fast anytime you want. Can nobody put a set time on when and when you should not fast. If you're Muslim, we have a reason why we fast so many times throughout the month or throughout the year. But if you are not Muslim and you don't adhere to any kind of religion, and y'all don't have no kind of set program on fasting, just fast from the things that are detrimental to your health. And fasting is the cure for 90% of our ills is known by medical scientists. But they do not teach you that. They know that tobacco, hard whiskey, and alcohol are not good for you and will shorten your life and kill you. I will continue to use my father as an example and use his name to help people, because he died from alcohol. Okay. It says this about fasting. Now, this just backs up what I already been doing. Okay, so to let you know that your sister is on the right path and is in tune with the word of Allah, God. Know that this is what the book says. Page 20, How to Eat to Live, book 1. Fast once a month for 3, 4, or for whatever length of time you are able to go without food, without harming yourself, and you will feel good. Okay? And that's when you're hurting, you're sick, you're ill. Stop eating all that junk. Just drink water or something. You have to cleanse your body of all the nastiness. And even Dr. Sebi said that mucus was the reason for disease. So if you follow Dr. Sebi, then you should know Brother Elijah Muhammad was telling you the real. You should know that Brother Elijah Muhammad was on point. Okay, when he says things have too much starch, things have the bread rises in your stomach, you can't eat undercooked stuff, a lot of these things do not digest well. Breads, milks, rice, all these things potatoes, all these things create mucus in your body. And if you follow Dr. Sebi, then you would know that to be true. The whys. We get all this information, and then in the back of our mind we say, why? Why should we do this? Why should we do that? So I outlined a few things that is in this book, page 26 and 27, that will answer your whys. So, and it reads, to my black people, understand this. And this is what your sister been telling you all along. So, further to realize that your sister being straight in tune with God and straight in tune with Elijah Muhammad, this is what the book says, to reiterate. The slave master taught us to eat the rough foods such as field peas, and today being accustomed to eating them. We still eat them along with sweet potatoes, which are not good for anyone but hogs, and white potatoes, which, since they are so starchy and fattening, are not good for anyone unless they are in a zone where they cannot secure better food. Okay, we're moving on to page 27. Some of us eat so often and so much at a time that it actually has a tendency to make us small and skinny, because we never allow time for the previous meal to digest and distribute the vitamins and proteins into the proper places. You got to give your body time to digest, and throughout our bloodstream. That's why normally if I do eat, I won't eat until after 12 o'clock, because sometimes when I get up, my stomach is a little upset. The first thing I go to is water, and I don't eat until afternoon time, because I have to make sure that all my food from the previous day has completely digested out of my system and distributed it to the necessary avenues to keep me healthy. Okay, the rest period. In this period of rest, 24 hours, the poisons that we ate in the previous meal are not capable of doing us any harm. When it is minor food poison, for the idleness of the stomach destroys this poison that would upset us or shorten our lives to a great extent. Milk and bread, wheat bread alone, will keep us alive indefinitely, and it is the best and most easily digested. Once a day and once every other day does not give the mucus time to accumulate and choke the bronchial tubes and tract. So eating all the time is hurting your bronchial tubes. My mom has severe asthma, and I'm trying to get her to do change her diet like tremendously. But he's saying that if you're eating once a day or eating every other day, that it keeps the mucus from building up. But if you consume food that creates mucus, and then you continuing to put more food on top of that that's creating mucus, and more food on top of that, it never gives the mucus time to dissolve. You know, it's like when you have sugar and you put water in it. If you continue to put water in it, eventually you won't taste the sugar at all. But if you continue just to if you just put a little bit of water and or if you just put water and continue to put sugar on top of it, it's gonna be sweet as hell, and you're probably gonna die. Okay. Now, since so many people are so religious, let's talk about the devil. We can't talk about God and what he prohibits and does not prohibit without talking about the devil and the new age live devil that still exists today, that continues to put all these prohibited foods in our faces, showers them, make them look so good, and knows that it can cause all these traumatic health concerns. So let's talk about the devil. Here it says, page 32 and 33, How to Eat to Live, book 1. It says, the enemy of God teaches you to eat, and he eats it himself to show you how little respect he has for God. Divine law against eating this prohibited flesh. Talking about the pig. He drinks all the intoxicating drinks, offer them to us, and then preaches the same gospel in the church, that thou shalt not eat the pig, thou shalt not drink intoxicating liquor, thou shalt not rob, steal, murder, commit adultery, gamble, hate, and lie to one another. Yet he is doing that hourly. Everything that God says thou shalt not do in the 10 commandments given to Moses, they shall do. Okay, so let's try our best to be as close to God as possible, and that is working your way to eating 1 meal a day. It's been a process for me. Now I'm down to like maybe a snack at noon, and then my meal between 4 and 6, and the book says 1 meal a day between 4 and 6. Okay, and I've been really working on it, and it's been doing good. Like yesterday, I had my snack at maybe around 1-ish, because I usually don't eat till after like 12 o'clock anyway, because my stomach just is not feeling it. So I usually don't eat till 12 o'clock. By then, my food should be digested and all these great things. And so I had a snack yesterday because I'm driving all day, and I really was working, and I didn't have time to stop. So I just got a little snack that I already had in my car. And by the time I finished that snack, my stomach, I wasn't even hungry. So I didn't really get to eat till later on. And that's the bad thing about being a driver, is like, you want to eat between 4 and 6, but it's so hard because those are the times when, if you're an Uber driver or something like that, it's popping outside. You're making money. So you're not going to be able to stop. So I wasn't even able to eat yesterday, like really have a good meal, until about 7 or 8 o'clock. But today I didn't eat. I had a little snack just a minute ago, and it's like almost 2 o'clock right now. So yeah, so I've been like really cutting down on. I've never been a 3 meal a day type of person, but I definitely have been a 2 meal a day type person, at least lunch and dinner. But now I'm just like maybe a snack at lunch and then my dinner. Okay, and then it's a gradual learning process. No one expects you to change overnight, change your eating habits, drinking habits overnight, but the person who is closest to God is taking those steps. So that's all we asking for, is people to really take those steps, preferably everyone, but right now it's really about Black people taking those steps, because at this time, in this hour, you are getting worse and worse and worse by the dozens. Okay, so this page here, or this segment here on page 39, is called Overindulgence and the Enemy, but I'm going to be talking about nuts and overeating. So this says, just think of the way we destroy our lives by eating too many sweets or too much meat, or eating white bread and cornbread. Ask yourself that question. America is a great candy seller. She reaps a harvest of wealth on just selling sweet candies and nuts. You notice they put nuts in everything. They put sugar in everything. And then when you go to the store, you see nothing but nut bars, fruit bars with nuts, and candies with nuts, chocolates, things like that. Nothing but junk food. I mean, I can go around in the Inland Empire area and you hardly can find health food stores unless you go over to where the white folks live, of course. And then in LA it's everywhere. You just got to go to the right areas as well. But in our communities, in the black communities, in the impoverished communities, you do not see any health food stores unless they are owned by the people in the community, which is a good thing. But it's a bad thing if you don't support your community and the people who live in the community who do have the health food stores and who are providing the resources for you. So it says, America is a great candy seller. She reaps a harvest of wealth on just selling sweet candies and nuts. They fill the candy full of nuts as well as their cakes, cookies, and other pastries. The only thing with stomach enough to digest nuts is an animal. Okay, birds love nuts and they have what it takes to digest them. Okay, nature made them that way. Just as horses can digest corn and anything else in their line of food, birds, squirrels, hogs, coons, rabbits, and worms can digest nuts. They can eat nuts and digest them, and they will not wear out their stomachs like yours would wear out trying to digest nuts. A dog's stomach and his digestive juices are like any carnivorous eating animal. He can digest a rare steak. In fact, he can digest it as soon as he kills the animal. You do not have to cook their food. They do not like it cooked. They like their meat raw. This is the way nature made them. Take it raw. That didn't sound right, but you know what he's trying to say. Mad Goddess TV. Okay, we're going to jump to page 45 because a lot of people do not understand the process of fasting and why Muslims fast. So let's break it down just a little bit, let you know why Muslims fast and why they fast in December and why. Because most people ask why. You see people of certain ways of life, i.e. religion, doing certain things such as fasting, and you want to have a better understanding. So to better understand why Muslims fast, let's take a note out the book. And it reads, I have chosen for quite a few years the month of December for my followers to fast as in the month of Ramadan. It serves as a sign that we, the lost and found nation, are the end of all signs pertaining to the pilgrimage and fasting in the month of Ramadan. We fast the 12th month of the Christian year to relieve ourselves of having once worshipped that month as the month of which Jesus was born. It is now known and agreed upon by the scholars and scientists of religion that nothing of the kind took place 2,000 years ago. Jesus was born not in the month of December, but rather as God has revealed it and according to the season that history claims existed in that time, the first or second week of September. So this is saying that Jesus wasn't born in December, and history and scientists and research has revealed this. He was born more so in the first or second week of September. So you can know a little bit more, I want you to do your research on that and look up the name Nimrod, okay, and research Nimrod. His birthday was in December, okay, and I will skip to the second paragraph at the bottom, and it'll say Nimrod, who actually was born on December 25th. So while you think you are celebrating Jesus Christ's birthday on December 25th, you are actually celebrating the birthday of Nimrod. And I want you to do your research, read more about it, and really delve into that and question, why am I celebrating Christmas? And my reaction every year the Christmas is. Ain't nothing on Christmas talking about Jesus. They got the snowman. They celebrate and the Santa Claus and everything else, but nothing that they promote and nothing that these people, these devils promote has anything to do with Jesus Christ. And they are making so much money from you black people in general around Christmas time because of these beliefs. Okay, it says, just a little back history on Nimrod. Nimrod was an enemy of God and one who came in the last 300 years of the 2,000 years of Moses. Okay, he led the white man against the laws of Moses and the worship of Allah. He, Nimrod, wanted them to worship idols such as Santa Claus, such as Frosty the Snowman, and that which was other than God, such as celebrities. And they did in ancient Rome. Okay, and this is page 46 now, second paragraph, end of it. It says, "We shall not indulge in the eating of meats. You may eat fish and such fat products which come from land animals, such as butter and cheese." Okay, see, this is one passage that kind of throws me for a loop because I'm lactose intolerant, so I don't eat cheese. Anytime you ever really have seen me eat cheese, if you know me, is on a pizza because I'm so in love with pizza. But I don't eat that anymore because a lot of the pizza and the cheese that we have here is artificial cheese. It's not real cheese. It's not like we're in Italy where they have real cheese. Okay, so it says, "Eat before day and after the sun goes down." This is all pertaining to fasting. "Eat before day and after the sun goes down if you wish, but not during daylight hours." Okay? "But if you eat one meal a day, you may eat that meal either before dawn or after dark." So that's a little bit about fasting. I'm not reading the entire book. I want to stress that. I'm reading parts of this book so you can get a better breakdown and a better understanding of why we need to change our diets as not only a black civilization, but as Americans. They are killing us on purpose. So I got 4 more points and we are out of here. So make sure you like, share, subscribe, Mad Goddess TV at Miss Hayes 1. That's MSHAZE, the number 1, to follow my videos because we will be going over book 2 as well. If you want to follow me on Instagram, it's Millionaire Queen Sultana. That's SULTANA. And I only do snippets or previews of my videos on Instagram. But if you want the full video, please subscribe, like, share on my YouTube channel. And if you want me to continue breaking down books, definitely please like, subscribe, share. After we do book 2 of How to Eat to Live, we are going to get into this fall of America because America is falling. So now that we got the reason why we are how we are through the Willie Lynch letter, we are eating to live, changing our bodies, change the way we think, changing the way we live. And now we're going to get into the fall of America, which is going to show us how America is falling and why, and a lot of these things have to do with it. When you go against God and the will of God, you tend to fall, and that's even in human nature. Whenever we go against God and the path that God has for us, we tend to fall into drug addiction, alcohol addiction, prostitution, and things like that. But once we get up out of that and continue to move forward and change our life, things in our lives will get better. I will read this passage really quick off of page 53, and it says, "The body is made up of water, chemicals, stones, metals, and vegetation and air." I just like that one. So I'm gonna give you a few benefits of eating once a day, and then I'm gonna tell you about some scavengers that we think are very, very good, and that me personally I've tried and I've loved. But because I've been changing my way of eating and transitioning into the nation, if you didn't know, I have been drastically changing my eating habits, the way I live my life, the people I hang around with, and the things that I do. So let's talk about a few benefits of eating once a day. Okay, first of all, I want to talk about the children. Children should not be forced to fast or to eat once a day or once every other day. Children and babies should eat at least twice a day. If you are now eating 3 meals a day and you would like to eat 1 meal every other day, you should not all of a sudden change from 3 meals a day every day to 1 meal every other day. And you get that. You don't want to put your body in shock. You don't want to go from eating 3 meals a day to eating 1 meal a day. Your body is just going to be like, what the heck is going on? So that's why for me, I have been gradually limiting that. I've never been a real breakfast person. Like, I'm that weird person that likes to eat breakfast at night. But like, I don't even eat breakfast because most of it contains a lot of syrupy things like that. And I don't like sugar in the morning. I just like a clean palate. I'd rather eat salad in the morning, actually, if I do eat in the morning. But if you're eating 3 meals a day, gradually change your eating habits. Go to 2 meals a day. If you get hungry throughout the day, drink water. Don't try to eat no snacks in between. Just drink water and continue to drink water to just continue to cleanse your palate. And I guarantee you're going to start losing weight. If you're overweight or you trying to get in shape, you're definitely going to start shedding those pounds. Then it says, like I said, first drop to 2 meals a day, then 1 meal a day, and then 1 meal every other day. Okay? It is better to do it this way so that you will not make yourself sick. Okay? And if you eat every other day, do not begin your meal with heavy food. So start with a piece of fruit, start with a little salad or something, start with a soup. Soup is very good. I mean, people shun away from soup, but soup is very good, especially when it's really cold. Like, I love soup. Okay? Do not eat of the scavengers of the sea. Now, this is what I was talking about when we talking about scavengers of the sea. These scavengers are just like eating pork. They eat anything, anything they can get their hands on. They're very greedy, and we all love these scavengers. But I am so sorry to my gumbo eating, uh, Creole eating people, but these scavengers are not good for you, and they could be carrying so many different diseases and things of that sort, especially with the waters in the United States. Like, our beach water is disgusting. So for us to be eating the scavengers and eating the scavengers that live in these nasty polluted waters is even worse. So let's talk about it. Do not eat, this is on page 60 and 61. Do not eat the scavengers of the sea. Who are the scavengers of the sea? Such as oysters, crabs, clams, snails, shrimp, eels, or catfish. Now, y'all know we love our crab, our shrimp, and our catfish. But come on, black people, we gotta understand that these are scavengers just like the pig. And it says the catfish is a very filthy animal. Okay, he loves filth and is the pig of the water. So just like you eating pig, you eating the catfish, they are one and the same. Just one of them is on land and one of them is in water. Okay? It says, if we want to prolong our lives, it is best that we do not eat meat or do not eat it so often. So if you love your meat and you cannot go without having your meat, just don't eat it so often. And when you do eat it, make sure you're cooking it at home. Don't get these already made boxes of food and things like that, which don't, accommodate your digestive system. They don't accommodate your health, and they're just simply not good for you. Lastly, it says, Allah has said that no wild game should be eating at all. So all y'all with these alligators and these snakes and all these raccoons and all this other bull crap. Come on, people. My southern people, particularly. Come on, black folks. We got to get it together. You're not supposed to be eating your roadkill, bruh. No roadkill, okay? Please do not eat coons, possums, turtles, turtle eggs, or frog legs. My southern, which are possums and frog legs. None of these are good for us. And I know y'all hard-headed. Black folks, we the most hard-headed of the races, but we got to get it together, people. So let's get it together. So we can do a whole review of all the don'ts. The book is not finished, but we are going to come to a close because I want you to read this book. I want you to break it down for yourself. I can read it for you. I can help you break it down, but you retaining the information and breaking it down for yourself is the only thing that will save your life. So let's go to a list of what we must not eat to wrap it up. Okay? And then we're going to talk about feeding babies lastly, because that for me was a topic that I could not skip. Even though it's toward the end of the book, I could not skip that topic because our babies are our future. We need to know as mothers that we have to get back into the kitchen. Although I am not a mother yet, I understand as a woman who wants children that feeding my children at home is key to their success in the future, and it is key to their health in the future. So first, let's list the things that we are forbidden to eat. A list of foods we must not eat. Do not eat swine flesh. It is forbidden. Do not eat field peas, black-eyed peas, speckled peas, red peas, or brown peas. Okay, so the green peas, I guess, are okay. He hasn't mentioned that yet, but we're talking about the bean peas, okay? Do not eat lima beans or baby lima beans. Do not eat any bean but the small navy bean, the little brown pink ones or the white ones, okay? Do not eat cornbread, okay? Because it is very hard on your stomach and not easily digested. Do not eat rich soybeans. Soy is in everything nowadays. So I advise you, please read your labels. Stop eating soybeans, soybean products, and oils. Thank you. Do not eat the rich soybean flour. Neither the flour nor the oil from the soybean is good for our stomachs. Do not eat the vegetable kale. I'm sorry for all my vegans and all my vegetarians and all my very healthy people. Kale was a grafted plant out of Europe. Okay, the only reason why it was grown is because it can withstand the cold climate. It is not for us. It is not for the black man and woman. We are tropical people. We don't do well in cold climates. It is not good for our skin. Okay, I want to reiterate that. Mad Goddess TV. Okay. Do not eat the vegetable kale, nor sweet potatoes and white Irish potatoes, which are the staple food for people who live in frigid zones or for people who cannot afford other vegetables. We need heat. We need vitamin D. Lack of vitamin D is the cause of most cancers. So go to the doctor. When they do your blood work, make sure they're checking your vitamin D levels, because sometimes that's how you don't know if you getting cancer or going to have cancer, is because the doctors are not checking for vitamin D levels. And if you don't ask them, they will not check. I don't care how young you are. Every time I go to the doctor, they're like, oh, you so young, you don't need to check this, check that. Check everything, because you could be developing some type of cancer and you can catch it on an early phase. So you won't have to go through chemotherapy and all that junk. Okay, the main thing you must do, I will repeat, is eat one meal a day or once every 24 hours, and never eat or even touch that pig. okay? When you begin eating once a day, certainly you will begin to lose weight until you are used to eating once a day. Then you will start gaining weight again, but fat is not wanted for health. It is an enemy of health, and that is on page 63. And last but not least, I will say this: drink plenty of whole milk. Now, the milk that you have in your normal supermarket is not the whole milk you want. I was told that you can get whole milk from Sprouts or some type of health food store. It's a little pricey, but it's better for you and it tastes way better. So it says, drink plenty of whole milk. It says, drink plenty of wholesome milk. Eat butter, bread, and fresh foods. If you eat fowl, lamb, squab, and fish, cook it well. Okay? Keep your food under steam pressure. Cook it with a lid on. Okay? Also, it says, eat the white part of the cabbage and cauliflower. Stay off those peanuts, coconuts, and nuts, period. Okay? Give the cornbread back to these horses. Stop eating cornbread. Especially because it's not even cooked right, and most of the time when you see it in the store, it don't even look done. You know, when we make our cornbread, it has to be brown at the top. When you buy it from the store already in muffins or already baked, it's not even brown, it's still yellow. So you should know by just looking at it that it's not even right. So just give it back to the animals and make your own fresh bread. Okay? Do not eat grits or coarsely chopped corn. The corn is fit for you only in its milk stage. Okay. So last but not least, first I will say, How to Eat to Live, Book 1 by Elijah Muhammad. Black people, support your local black bookstores or go to NOI.org and purchase this book. This is book 1. We will review book 2 in about a week or so once I get it all broken down, because I just received mine. It's a hardback. This one I got from Harlem, Mosque number 7. It's a gentleman in front of the mosque who sells books, and I bought this from him. But my book 2 is a hardback that I got straight from the nation in Chicago headquarters. And make sure you follow, like, share, subscribe, comment. Mad Goddess TV, your queen Sultana. And the last but not least, we will talk about feeding your babies, because everybody's saying, oh, eat once a day. What about my babies? What about my children? And this is the most important to women who are the pinnacle of the world and good for economics. Remember that last video? Black women, you are good for good economics, and it starts with your children and how you are feeding them. So I'm going to read this whole passage. It starts on page 67, and it says, feeding babies. Mothers should feed their babies from their breast milk if they possibly can, and this is the best. When you are able to start feeding them on solid food, give them weak bean soup, not the highly seasoned strong soup that you eat. You also can start them out with orange juice and mashed apples. Do whatever you think the baby is able. After he is about 3 months old, this depends on the health of the baby and its age. Plenty of good milk and good thoroughly cooked bread are good for you and the baby. We must not get the idea that we can nurse the baby with everything we eat. This is what will start sickness and disease in the family. Some mothers are very careless. Come on, y'all. The baby can act as if he wants what mother is eating, and even if it is a beef steak, she will cut him a piece. We create sickness right in our homes from the cradle to the grave. That's it. That's all, y'all. Stop it. Stop it, stop it, stop it. In the words of Tupac, we need to change the way we eat, we need to change the way we live, and we need to change the way we treat each other to survive. Mad Goddess TV.